everyone. Welcome back. So, in the last class, we saw the SP3 architecture of Palo Alto, that is single pass parallel processing. So, it process the packet in a single flow. So, that's the significance of the SP3 architecture. But overall, like, why we need a firewall? Just to typically protect against the malware. So, we saw the importance of the firewall. Now we see what it is protecting against, basically the malware. So what is a malware? Malware is typically is a entity which is going to exploit your system, making vulnerable, creating a vulnerability to the system. So anyone who is trying to access your resources, you make use of the one of the malware to grab or exfiltrate your data. So there are like several types of malware, starting with adware. Adware is nothing but deliver unwanted ads. Second, bot. Bot is nothing but forms botnets for remote attack. Third, ransomware. Encrypt files and demands payments. And then spyware secretly monitors your activity. Then Trojan disguises as legitimate user. And then virus, the well-known entity, vital information receives, res- uh, vital information resource and receives is the abbreviation or the acronym of the virus. And then worms, it spreads rapidly in your system, self-replicating. And then what else? I think these are the main thing. So these are the main types of malware which like the firewall is protecting against the data exfiltration or like any kind of attack or whatever it is. All these malware comes under this categories like adware, bot, ransomware, spyware, Trojan, virus, worms. Adware, whenever like you try to visit a Chrome browser, if you see some pop-ups or like any kind of unwanted ads that comes under adware, and like even bots, like say for example, there are like some bots which are like very like acts like a doppelganger, like looks very similar to a trusted site, a bot, and you might input your valuable data over that bot. So that is a bot. Ransomware, you might have heard about like few recent years back, like you heard about WannaCry attack. So those are like attack to I mean get some ransom amount. They will be attacking your system, and then they will be requesting for some compensation, and then only they will release that file. That is ransomware. And spyware, like secretly monitoring your activity. Trojan disguising like one type of malware that acts like a that disguises itself like a legitimate user and then acquires the invaluable information. Virus is like the regular virus where vital information resource and receipt infects the file and makes it like unusable or like makes it very threatening to the entity or the ecosystem which are in. And then worms, like these are self-replicating types of malware which will be like make them self-replicating in a very exponential manner. So these are the types of malware. So previously we spoke about the types of malware, the malware, what is malware and what are the types of malware. There are like different categories or like different ways the malware could operate in your machine or the end user system that it can cause a damage to a vital resource or data or even the system itself. Now we'll see some of the techniques it adopts to attack the machine or attack the data which causes the problem or issues in our network security concept. So, firstly, in the cyber attack life cycle, there are several ways of making an attempt to cause the damage to the data. So, first one, it will start with reconnaissance. Reconnaissance. Second, weaponization. Third, delivery. Fourth, exploitation. Fifth, installation. And then finally, the command and control. You must have heard this word very often if you have heard about like the attack or like taking control over the systems as such. So reconnaissance, this is the first one. What does it do? It will target the easy host machines or like easy vulnerable devices for the target to get the access over it or like to get the information over it. Say, for example, you have a particular network which is having 10 machines in that network, and five of them don't have proper protection or like they have like telnet protocols being open because telnet is a open protocol. Like it's not like an SSH protocol. SSH is a encrypted protocol where like everything will be going in encrypted session if you want to access over like command line interface or whatever it is. But if your mission is like have open to telnet access, everything will be passing over like in clear text information. So those kind of thing will be like done from the reconnaissance stage. So selecting easy target. Selecting easy target is the reconnaissance method to select easy target, the first stage of the cyber attack life cycle. So it will target the easy missions. That is the reconnaissance, first part. Second, the weaponization. It will it will check for methods it can attack because there could be several methods or like several probabilities of method to attack a particular system. So it will check for which will be the best method to go for the attack. Delivery is like in what way it can send the packet, like or like in what way it can attack the victim. Sorry, not send the packet. In what way it can it can deliver that message or like what deliver that malware to the system. So either it could be like malicious PDF files, malicious JPEG files, URLs, whatever it is. It could be anything, even emails as such. So there are like delivery of methods, like what all methods you have, like emails, links like URL links, PDF files. So these are all like delivery methods where it can make use of these entity to take over the control over the system. Once the user has exposed to this email or links or PDF, he is kind of exploited. In that way, what it will do, it will start like it will be trying to execute that exploitation. So once the user is clicked on that particular link, it will be automatically kind of redirecting. So it started to exploit or started to exploit once the user has done, or like when the victim has done the that particular operation by clicking on it or by accessing over it. That is exploitation. And then finally, if the user has done that without any proper knowledge or without his ignorance, then no other go, the malware will be started to install in that particular machine. So it will happen. The root code of the malware will be started to run. And then finally, the command and control. So this will, like, the once the all these steps have gone sequentially, definitely the attacker has gained the control over the victim machine. So the attacker will be taking the control over the machine. So once all these stages have been completed, then definitely, your mission is kind of act. So we saw the types of malware. We saw the methods how on which, like, how the cyber attack will be done, like sequentially. Now let's move on to the next stage. So far we have discussed about what is malware, what are types of malware, what are the stages of the malware method it uses to attack the end user system or the very vital data. So what is malware? What is types of malware? And what are the attacks it uses sequentially to attack the end user system or even the vital data we have saw. So now we go to the approach the Palo Alto firewall uses to protect the data. It uses zero trust verify all approach. Actually, this is a very key keyword. It might be asked in PCNSE as well. So zero trust verify all approach it uses. How does it use? Let's see. It uses a pyramid. Like, you have next generation firewall and you have threat intelligence cloud, and then advanced endpoint protection. So you can say this is kind of a pyramid or like interconnected to have a very good security over or control over the infra security. So how does it provide? Next generation firewall identifies and inspects blocks known threats, sends unknown threats to cloud. This will be done by wildfire, which will be covered in the upcoming topics, and extensible to mobile and virtual networks. So these are all the functionalities provided by the firewall. And now threat intelligence cloud. What does threat intelligence cloud do? It gathers potential threat data, analyze and correlates threat intelligence, and then provide information about network, and endpoints. So threat intelligence cloud provide these functionalities. What does advanced end protection do? It inspects all process and files, prevents unknown exploits. So this is like the overall picture, like how the firewall protects and make use of its technologies to protect the network. Next generation firewall, threat intelligence cloud, advanced endpoint protection. So these threat intelligence cloud and advanced endpoint protection have its own subscriptions and features based upon their license, and it varies, which will be covering in the upcoming topics. So to summarize, so your next gen firewall, cloud, then advanced endpoint protection. It goes like a cycle. So this is the overall approach of next generation firewall Palo Alto protecting the malware from the intruders or the hackers. So the main thing which you have to remember is zero trust, verify all. Fine. So far, we have seen like what is a malware, what are the types of malware, what are the techniques that malware adapt to exfiltrate the end user system or the data, and how does Palo Alto protect the network security or like infra security with their own zero trust, verify all approach. So just to give an overview, so we came across what is malware, this where I have mentioned in this section, and then we have seen like what are the techniques, cyber attack life cycle in this section, and then finally what is zero trust verify all approach which Palo Alto adapts in this section. So so far we have covered this much: zero trust verify all. Okay, so now we'll see, we'll go further, like how does it segment the or like perform segmentation in protecting the data, in protecting the end user. So typically in network security, segmentation is very important. Segmentation is nothing but you're associating or grouping the trust resources in one particular category or particular tagging or like particular group. So that particular grouping in the general firewall terminology will be denoted with name zones. Zones. This is pretty much all. I mean, this is pretty much the same name being used in all of the firewalls, be it like Palo Alto, Juniper, Cisco, very much the same terminology, zones. So typically, if you see this diagram, this is a typical simple topology diagram going to explain the segmentation with respect to the Palo Alto networks. So let's say this is your machine. This is going to have a private IP which is compliant with RFC 1918. RFC 1918 complies with three set of IP addresses, that is 10.10.00/8, 172.16 till 172.31/16, and then 192.168.0.0/24. So these three are the typical private IP ranges. where will be associated with the inside client machines or the trust users. So typically you are going to trust these IP ranges because it is going to be part of your internal office IP address space. So definitely you will be most often will be associating these IPs as trust IPs or trust IP range. So definitely inside your company, say for example, this trust user or your own laptop machine will be having like 192, 168, 1.100 as like an example, like IP address associated, and this will be tagged under the trust zone, trust zone. And say for example, you are going to visit a public web server, say for example, google.com, that is a public server. Let it be like public DNS IP 8.8.8. So this is like a external IP. So anything external to your network is untrusted. So generally you denote the outside of this network as untrust. So you understood the trust concept, the untrust concept. And within your organization, or like there are two scenarios like where we can associate a group name called DMZ, that is demilitarized zone. Two options is either you want to have that particular server isolated from your private IP address space belonging to your own company. That will be like that is one option. That is good. That could be the first option. Your own server, but needs isolation. Second option, an external company, they want to place their server inside your organization premise, since like there could be a scenario their geolocation doesn't serve in that particular city, but they do rent a particular co-working space to place that server inside your data center to support that server connectivity for the public or the customers. So that is the second option. In that scenario, you are going to place this particular server in the demilitarized zone, DMZ. And say, for example, this is another friend, your colleague system, which is in the trust zone. So generally, your there is a flow like bound direction for this particular topology. So generally when you are communicating from your system to your colleague system, say this is a point A, this is a point B, and the untrust is like untrust direction or the untrust server, which is going to be a point C, and the DMZ is point D. What I'm denoting here is the point A to B. When you're going from A to B, that is going to be trust to trust, then it will be in east-west direction. East-west, which means within your within your network, within your infra. So that will be east and west. If at all you're going from your machine towards the internet, that will be south to north. That is from point A to point C, that will be trust to untrust, that will be south north, that will be south north. And finally, if your traffic is coming inbound, that is coming from C to A or C to B, that will be north south. So this is how the segmentation is done. So basically, zero trust you achieve through various methods. First is the segmentation. So for segmentation, this is the overall concept. I hope you understood. You can just recollect whatever you want to go through. So we segmented, we associated based upon bound direction. Bound directions are east-west, south-north, north-south.